No one wanted to adopt him. This is how he looks 14 years later.
But before we start, please take a moment to give this video a like, subscribe to Happy World, and hit the bell so you'll never miss these great stories.
When a woman's pregnant, she experiences a special type of apprehensive anticipation. That's different for every parent. For the most part, when it comes to their child's health, parents adhere to the ancient saying, "We don't care whether it's a boy or girl, all we want is for the kid to be well." Unfortunately, not every parent has the privilege of raising a child who is in perfect health from birth. Despite this, the experiences that can arise as a result of providing care for a sick loved one can be really life-changing. The incredible story of little ocdBXq is sure to bring tears to your eyes, so prepare to be moved. Parker was born with hydrocephalus, a disorder that affects the brain's ability to function properly. Hydrocephalus, or cerebrospinal fluid accumulation in the brain, is a condition in which an abnormally large amount of cerebrospinal fluid accumulates, according to the specialists at UCLA Health. Hydrocephalus is not unheard of. It occurs in 2 out of every 10 births in the United States, but Parker's symptoms were extremely severe. According to the doctor, in the baby's cranial cavity, his little brain took up only around 5% of the space. In a typical birth, the brain occupies anywhere between 90 and 95% of the space available. I was at his side the entire time, talking to him, praying over him, holding his hand, rubbing his head. Ryan Grelecki recalls of the 2 hours following the adoption of his son. "I feel this overwhelming wave of pure love wash over me, and here I am with this helpless infant who's committed to my care and I'm unable to help him." Parker's biological parents abandoned him shortly after his birth and he's never recovered. They couldn't bear the thought of taking a baby in with such medical issues. They dropped him off at the hospital right away. Ryan and his wife happened to see him while visiting a sick friend in the area and decided to adopt him from there. Parker's incredible doctors and surgeons at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta were ready to begin releasing some of the pressure in his head within a few days of his emergency surgery. That initial surgery would be the first of many for the kid. Over the course of the following several months, our goal was to penetrate into the skull and re-expand it, open it up, and separate the bones that had grown together over time. And in essence, that's what we did. We created space for his brain to develop and expand normally, recounts Joseph Williams, MD, one of the hospital's chief of plastic and craniofacial surgery. It was only after the first successful surgery that his adoptive parents were able to bring him back into their house. Parker began physical therapy when he was 4 weeks old. According to his adoptive mother, Chrissy Grelecki, Parker was adopted from the Ukraine. The baby had difficulties at first, but he was soon able to pull himself up. In fact, he skipped right through the crawling stage and started walking right away. Parker's caregivers at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta are smitten with the little guy that Parker has developed into. Some people describe him as an affectionate youngster who constantly has a smile on his face. Parker's pediatrician Avril Beckford continues to be impressed by both Chrissy and Ryan, saying they absolutely welcomed without question this extremely exceptional child. Parker's parents, Chrissy and Ryan, are also amazed by Parker. In an in-depth interview with the boy was conducted by Auburn University, and the results are as follows. Parker Grelecki is a living miracle since he was born with less than 2% of his brain intact when he was born. As a result, he's developed into one of the most lively and amazing children you'll ever meet. Here's what happened to him. Parker Grelecki was born with hydrocephalus on September 9, 2008, and has been diagnosed with autism. It was discovered around 20 weeks of pregnancy that Parker's spinal fluid was not draining properly because of a blockage between the 3rd and 4th ventricles of his brain. Parker's parents were informed of this at the time of his birth. As a result, the fluid would accumulate and pressure Parker's brain matter against his skull, posing a serious threat to Parker's neurological development during his early childhood. At birth, the average newborn has 90 to 95% brain matter and 5 to 10% fluid within the cranial cavity. Parker, on the other hand, had more than 98% fluid and less than 2% brain matter, resulting in a total of 8 millimeters of brain matter. A shunt was implanted in Parker's head when he was 2 days old, allowing the fluid to drain and the pressure on Parker's brain to be relieved. Parker endured a series of shunt and craniofacial surgeries over the course of the next 9 months to ensure correct drainage of the excess fluid and to restructure his skull in order to allow room for his brain to potentially grow to the appropriate size and develop properly. In spite of the fact that Parker began therapy at the age of 4 weeks and is continuing occupational and physical therapy to this day, he's been blessed with an unbelievable miracle. Parker has considerably exceeded the physician's expectations in every respect. Parker does exceptionally well in school, which is remarkable given the limited amount of brain matter he had at birth. He should likewise have difficulty communicating with others, but only after 2 minutes with him, it becomes clear that God is endowed and with an extremely engaging personality. As Parker's parents, we're overjoyed to be his parents and look forward to continuing to see him grow and carry out the Lord's plan for him in the future. A message from Ryan and Chrissy Grelecki, Parker's parents, have stated that Parker's experience has provided them with an incredible perspective on the trials and tribulations that life may throw their way. The phrase "at least it's not brain surgery" is frequently used when something bad happens. It's also provided our children with incredible amount of awareness towards others who are different from them and their peers. Parker's brain damage has forced him to be a little different, and as a result, he's found himself on the periphery of his own age group at times. We have 2 children who have grown up with a brother with special needs, but who has accomplished and seen so many beautiful things. Our other children, Chase and Emily, have become champions for individuals who don't always receive the recognition they deserve. Because of the upbringing and our experience as parents, Chrissy and I have come to realize that having 2 healthy children delivered without complications is in reality a true miracle. Parker's narrative has resulted in a family that's full of wonders. AUGM has become like a second family to me. Due to the fact that we spend so much time in Auburn, we get to see a large number of students outside of the dance marathon and other Miracle Kid events. Furthermore, the numerous incredible experiences that Parker has had at AUGM, ranging from chilling in a pillow-filled tent with AI to touring the entire stadium, has left Parker and the rest of his family with lifelong memories. The dance marathon is a highlight of our year. Every time we go, especially when Parker takes the microphone and leads the crowd in all of the AU shots, an in-depth look into Parker's life. What's the significance of the Auburn University Dance Marathon to you and your family? Parker has some of the most incredible memories and moments that have come from his time at AUGM. As a result of Parker's family ties to Auburn, including his mother, grandfather, grandmother, aunt, and uncle, our attendance at all the Tigers' home football games, the Tigers hold a particular place in Parker's heart. A variety of opportunities such as being a member of the Auburn University Marching Band, joining the Auburn University cheerleaders, receiving private tours of Jordan-Hare Stadium, meeting his broadcasting and public address heroes, and even participating in a coin toss at Dye Field have helped to solidify his commitment to the Auburn Tigers. All of those items were made feasible thanks to the ADM program. What is Parker's favorite activity to partake in? Parker enjoys listening to the Auburn Sports Radio Network, whether it's for live sports or any kind of replays of what are the events they're broadcasting. At the current time, what do you consider to be the most essential lesson you've taken away from this experience? Every day, God has a plan for your life, and it's frequently far more and better than anything you could have imagined. At the time of Parker's birth, the prognosis was not particularly positive, but the Lord had other plans for him because he's precisely who God has created him to be. A youngster who doctors initially said would never be able to function and has been able to make a good impact on thousands of people all over the country and the world by simply being himself. What's Parker's most memorable dance marathon experience? Rick Smith, the stadium public address announcer, was the highlight of his 8th birthday celebration, which included a meeting with one of his idols, Jordan-Hare Stadium tour guide. The tour was the nicest birthday present he'd ever received. In the future, what does Parker want to do? Parker wants to be a doctor, an analyst for the Auburn Sports Radio Network. Color Commentary says I'm nervous as to what some of Parker's favorite television shows or movies are. Phineas and Ferb, SpongeBob SquarePants, and the Power Rangers are just a few examples. Is there a particular location that Parker enjoys visiting? He appears to have unrestricted access to the Auburn University Athletic Department, which he appears to have at his disposal. Thank you so much to the Grelecki family for sharing Parker's story with us today. This poignant narrative has left a lasting impression on all of us.